Hi guys, welcome back to another progress vlog. Today I'll be making Shen Qingqiu from Scum Villain, and here's his current body so far. And we're now going to be starting off with the legs. So go ahead and follow on my Ko-fi page if you want to also make him as well. Starting off with the bottom of his shoes, I am using white yarn. Then I'm transitioning up invisible single crochet with this honey yarn by Yarn Bee. And then we're transitioning up to mint by Impeccable. And the rest is pretty much all white for the base. It's very simplified that way. And on round 14, which I'll be explaining in the next clip on how I created this and attached it. Okay, so here's a little quick explanation on how I'm attaching on the skirt to round 14 to his waist. So this is where the join starts. I'm placing it directly in the middle as much as I can of the doll. And then from here, I'm going to count 11 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 11. And on the 11th stitch is where I plan on joining it from the back side of the doll, placing in my stitch marker. And here we go. On the 11th stitch, here is the 11th loop, joining in to the stitch. And then we're going to single crochet all the way around, making sure the loops align with the stitches. And then once you do that, it pretty much joins the skirt all the way around, all single crochet, and there we go. Just showing you quickly what the skirt looks like after it's been attached on to round 14. And I'm having this here because it's my first time doing it. So I'm creating the little green flaps at the bottom, and they're supposed to be like little tiny slits on the bottom of his skirt. So what I'm doing is single crocheting this way, even though it's kind of backwards, but it's fine. And then we're just going to flip the skirt upwards. We're going to skip one stitch right here and then insert the hook into the next stitch. And then we're going to take our green mint yarn, and then I'm going to chain one to create a single crochet into the same stitch, so right there in, and then we're gonna go ahead and create our first single crochet, and then continuing on. And to close this off, I'm going to chain one, snip it off, and then just weave this part in. And to create the next little flap, skip one stitch and then do the same thing over. So as you can see right here, he has the little tiny little gap in between to create that little slit on the skirt area. So that's my simplified version of it so far. Okay, so now that we're back, I finished off the rest of the body with white and his head using Magnolia Way for the skin color by Crafter's Secret. For his eyelids, I'm using the 12mm safety eyes, and for the iris, I'm using Kelly Green by Impeccable, giving him rounded corner eyes with black yarn. And there it is, the entire look of it so far. Okay, so welcome back to the next update, and excuse the really messy desk that we have here. So after creating the body and the skirt, I went ahead and create this little middle part here, which I am calling the belt. I'm using white yarn, creating these double crochet stitches into a one long strand, and then I took my mint green yarn and I glued it down the middle to create this one little skinny little strip. After that, I took my honey yarn, which is supposed to represent gold, and I also glued that on both sides of the green strip for the details all the way around in like this one really long oval shape. After that, I took my mint green yarn and I glued it all the way around the white edges of the belt, and it creates this nice little simple piece that makes it look really detailed on the doll. And then I took my pins, pinned them down, and I glued everything into place. Although before I glued everything into place, I went ahead and created this collar using mint, which I chained the collar, and I took my felt tip needle and I stabbed it into the chest area. Then I took some glue to secure it down into place. I also took this honey gold yarn, kind of glued a little straight line that goes directly down the middle of the outfit, and it goes all the way to the bottom edges of his skirt, which wraps all the way around his entire outfit. And at the corners, you also create this little kind of a 90-degree angle circle onto the corner. And then for the middle of the belt, I'm just gonna call it a belt buckle just for labels. I'm really not sure what it is, but I'm using honey yarn and I created this little big piece right here and I slapped it onto the middle because there is something that holds the belt in place on his outfit, and that's what that looks like. For the rest of the details, I am using Kelly Green this darker green color. For these leaves, they're facing downwards, so they look like little creepy claws that are on the bottom of the skirt. I just kind of glued it randomly. There's no specific way that you have to make them. And I did that all the way around the outfit as well on the back side, and it goes all the way around. And so far, I think it looks pretty decent. For the arms, I'm using skin color right here. Switch it up to honey yarn, and then the rest of it is all white. Majority of his outfit is mainly white, and he has a lot of green and gold. And also to complete this look, I am using the same colors to create the sleeves, using white for the main base part and finishing off the edges with the mint color. And I love the way this looks. It's like a long sleeve. At the bottom we have this little open slit, just as how his original outfit is. And I also glued down this honey yarn all the way around. Same thing with the little corner, and both sides have Kelly green for the leaves, the details. It's really small, the space is small, so I had to really like fit in all the details into one little piece. And I pretty much tried to do an identical sleeve for the other side, so they both look the same on either side. Now to complete the doll's outfit, I'm going to put on the doll sleeves. I kind of got ahead of myself and did the hair already. I'm using black for his hair cap, 4 inner rounds and 4 outer rounds, and I glue it into place. Then I'm using reference to my Nikki hair tutorial pattern to create the hair strands. I'm currently using 12 chains. These are all 4 12 chains. This one is just bent backwards. Since he has a little arch on his bangs, that's what that does. And I'm mirroring it one side to the other one so far. We have another 12 chain right here, kind of placing it on the very last round of the hair cap, and it goes down just slightly beneath the chin. That's where I like it, using the pins to place them on and stay in place. And that is the current update so far. Here's the back side, and there we go. I'll be back with the next update. Hi guys, welcome back to the final update for Shen. So last thing we gotta do is finish off the hair. And just a quick note, I did change out his eyes. I used rounded corner eyes, and I'm changing it to pointy corner eyes just because I think the rounded corner eyes are a little bit too innocent, and he's not really like that. I feel like he has some sass to him, so I'm giving him pointy corner eyes. Makes him also a little bit more feminine as well. And back to the hair, using black strands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 chains, and on each side I'm using a slip stitch strand. We have one on this side that's placed on the very last outer ring, and then going on to the other side pretty much the same way as well, mirroring it. The strands go down here pretty much next to his arms, and then you have this 12 chain that's just kind of like curling out to the side, and this 12 chain that's like sort of bent downwards on his front side. And moving on to the back side, here we have some half double crochet strands. I created 5 of them and then glued them on the second to last outer ring, and it just covers up the back side. You can't really see it from the front, so at least when you have it on like the side view, you can like see he does have long hair. And for the top part, he has his man bun, which I'm using black for the first few rounds, and then I switched it out to honey yarn. And then here we have the bun stick, which is part of the little crown that they wear on top of their bun. I placed it right underneath it, and for this one, it's the same thing as Lan Wangji. I'm placing it on the 3rd inner ring in the middle, as center as I could make it. And I placed the stick also in the middle right there, right beneath the bun. And then I sewed it around with a long strand all the way around. And then for the last part of his crown, which I guess I'll just call it the crown, just for labels, I'm using a 8 chain, reference to my hair pattern, with white yarn as the base, and I'm using honey yarn to create like an outline. Use fabric glue and glued it all the way around, and I just created like 2 little half circles to create like the details of the crown. We're keeping it really simplified, and there we have it. This is the entire look of Shen from Scum Villain. I'll also be creating Luo Binghe next, and also for the references, here it is for the side profile. There's the sleeve, the back side. I just love like all this little details going on. I really like all the greens and the gold. It really stands out. I love his design. Very nice. And yeah, this is my version of it.